Good evening. This is TarunAkash here, and this is my presentation for the subject Cloud Application Development. And my topic for this presentation is demonstration of cloud application deployment using virtual machines. So, let's get into the presentation. So, what exactly is cloud computing, and what is virtual machine, and why are they needed? Let me start with that. So, cloud computing is basically the delivery of computing services like server, storage, network, and all those stuff over the internet. But the thing is, we won't have the physical server, physical machines, and all. And what are virtual machines? Okay, we call them VM in short. Okay, they are the backbone of this cloud computing model. They allow running multiple operating systems independently on the same hardware, and they use this concept called as virtualization. Okay, why is this needed for cloud application development? Okay, VM provide a very flexible, a very scalable and isolated environment. It is isolated because of those security concerns and the fault tolerance. Okay, so the developers they can deploy, they can test applications without worrying about the other application. Oh, will it fail if I run this application? No, that's why the isolation comes into play. Okay, also they no need to worry about the infrastructure limitation like do I need this much amount of resources or cloud basically makes it faster to adapt to all those changes or easy to manage all these limitations which an on-prem server would have. Okay, what is cloud application deployment? Simple. Cloud application development, it is a process of installing, configuring, and managing applications inside a cloud environment. It's as simple as that. It involves the provisioning of virtual resources, redeploying the services, and ensuring scalability, security, availability, reliability, everything. Basically, seamless access and performance. That's what. And it can happen in VMs, container, or any other managed services, let it be third party, on prem, whatever it is. Okay. Do we really need virtual machines? Yes. Okay. So, what are virtual machines then? Since I mentioned that they are the backbone of the cloud computing concept, it is basically to create a separate secure spaces inside a single physical hardware so that many applications can run independently. Like each virtual machine have their own OS, own resources like storage, network, and all. This helps the developer, as I said, test, deploy, manage applications easily without affecting other applications running in the same hardware. It makes it flexible. It makes the cloud system flexible because it can be start, stopped, resized, scaled up, scaled down anytime. This reduces cost. This scaling up and scaling down, according to the traffic, it saves a lot of money. Okay, I won't bore you guys much in this because this is something which most of us know. There are three types of deployment models: private, public, and hybrid. Okay, what is private cloud? It is dedicated for one organization or one person. Okay, example VMware, vSphere, OpenStack. These are private. What is public? It is shared resource over the internet. Anyone can access it. Like AWS, Azure, GCP, the three major players. Anyone can access it. It's public. What is hybrid? It combines both the environment. It is like you can keep the critical resources in private and those which can be shared to the open world, or even if the open world people access it, nothing is gonna change. Those in public so that it is scalable, it is secure. The things which are secure can be kept as secured like that. Example is AWS Outpost. And there are three models: IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, the famous things. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. It provides VMs and storage. You get full user control over the OS and application. Like example, EC2. What is PaaS? Platform as a service. It is ready to use development platform. It handles the runtime. It handles the scaling. Okay, example of Beanstalk, where you can host web applications. What is SaaS? SaaS is basically story. I mean, sorry. What is SaaS? SaaS is software as a service. It is fully managed by the service provider. It is there ready to have no installation, no maintenance. It just plug in and play. Example: Office 365, Salesforce. These are very famous example. Okay, let's get into the main part. Application development lifecycle. Okay, these things. Okay, application development lifecycle. Basically, they have four major steps. First is architecture selection, then is resource provisioning, then comes app setup, and then comes testing and monitoring. Okay. Now, what is this architecture selection? Okay, that is the part where we decide how our cloud application will be like. For example, what service are we going to use? What type of storage are we going to use? For example, we'll be selecting. Okay, for compute, I'll be using EC2. For storage, I'll be using RDS. For block storage, I'll be using Elastic Block Storage in AWS. So you will be selecting what type of thing you will be using for your application. Then comes the resource provisioning. What is resource provisioning? Resource provisioning is the place where when the design is ready, we create the actual resource. This includes launching the VM or setting up the storage, like what type of storage, if it's a database, setting up the table, setting up the database, all those stuff. For example, in EC2, we have a thing called security group, which basically prevents the inbound and outbound traffic. It not prevent, it controls the inbound and outbound traffic. So, for example, in my application, I want this specific IP to access only that part. So we go into the security group. We say them, see, for inbound traffic for this IP, allow this much, allow this IP to access it. So we'll be provisioning that. Then comes application setup. Okay, so just putting all those resources inside the VM is not enough. We have to run it. So all those parts where we deploy and run the application is the part called as application setup. Okay, so like setting up a web server or uploading the application files, connecting the database, all those stuff comes in the application setup. And that's not enough. We have to test it and continuously monitor it. Like we have to put it through many tests like vulnerability and penetration testing, gray white black box testing, functional testing, uh, also stress testing. We should make sure that our application is safe and fine and it is running whenever there is a spike in traffic or whatever. And are these four steps enough? They are kind of enough, but there's also one more thing called as scaling. So also we should set up auto scaling in such a way where when there is high traffic in the application should scale up, and when there is low traffic, it should scale down. In that way, we can reduce the cost in total, which is going to be cost for us. Okay, so security. Security is one of the major concern in most of the cloud applications today. So one is the network security. Basically, we have to configure the security groups. We have to configure the firewall. Make sure that there is no unwanted or unauthorized access. Then identity management. We have to give role-based access and least privilege policy for those people. For example, if person A needs 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 for him to function properly, we should give him access to 1, 2, 3 alone, not anything extra, not anything less. So we can use IAMs for that. Then we have to continuously monitor it, and whatever we are having, we should have a backup and recovery. Like we can keep snapshots, we can keep replications in other availability zones. Okay, so if you have to summarize what I'm saying right now, virtual machines, they enable deployment and make it easy. Cloud ensures the performance is high and it's scalable. The resources are isolated using virtualization, and virtualization is something which powers modern cloud apps these days. Okay, thank you.